Hey everyone, Charting Man Dan of the Chart Guys. We've got a ton of capital swirling around in reaction to the FOMC. This is why I like to wait for the day after the FOMC to see a real reaction, but we still don't have a ton of clarity. And I'm seeing very clearly the narrative continuing from the last 2 weeks of the bank run, the bank fear, and I'm just mentally grouping two groups of sectors together. And it's very similar to how we grouped things on the CVID dump. On the CVID dump, you had big tech, you had semiconductors, and you had growth names as the stronger names on the bounce. Growth isn't really fitting that right now. And then on this side, you had the financial sector, the travel names, and the energy sector all weaker. And these would correlate together, and these would correlate together, but these wouldn't really correlate together. Obviously, to some degree they did, but they were doing very different things. And that's what's going on right now. And again, on the stronger side, we'll just go through. We've got the NASDAQ holding on a lot better, up over 1% today after that big dump yesterday. So strong side is NASDAQ, semiconductors, SMH hit a higher high. Crypto names, Riot hit the higher high. Gold. Gold is testing the recent high. The metals, gold and silver. So those are all on the stronger side. And on the weaker side, we obviously have the financial sector still grinding down, testing the lows. We have the IWM, small cap names hitting fresh lows. And we have energy also weak at this point. Lower high on XLE on the daily time frame. So we'll look at all these a little bit more in depth here in just a moment, but that's how I'm keeping things separated. And so what I'm doing is I'm watching the broader market, and then if I see, oh, we're likely to see hourly consolidation in the S&P 500, I look short on the weaker names. And if I see, oh, we're looking for hourly higher lows on our stronger names, then I'm looking long the stronger names. And so just an example of that, today, first thing on the morning, I was shorting KRE, the regional banks, which are the weakest major sector right now. Cannabis is definitely up there as well, but KRE is testing the fear low of 41.57, and it was bears controlling the day for the most part. And my first entry here was on the morning when we broke 44. So we held on a little bit, and then we dropped down, and as soon as we hit that new low of the day, I was looking short. And from that point forward, just looked short. I was gone midday and left for a couple hours, and I came back, and there was a 5-minute lower high here that I grabbed at EMA 12 resistance and got stopped out when Yellen was speaking, and Yellen essentially saying, you know, we'll backstop some other names. That's really what the market has no idea right now. Are they going to backstop everybody, or are they not? Because yesterday Yellen said, no, we're not going to backstop everybody while Powell was speaking. And then today, yeah, well, you know, if a couple other banks need help, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of back and forth, jawboning. So I'm just sticking bearish on names in hourly downtrends and bullish on names in hourly uptrends. So as SPY was dumping and was at extremes, the 5-minute RSI in the teens, the 15-minute RSI was down approaching 20. I was looking for a bounce on the names that were in an hourly uptrend. And Netflix had a huge bull morning. Netflix confirmed a daily uptrend. At one point, it was up, you know, 9, almost 10%. And so on this pullback here, I was saying, all right, SPY is in free fall, but the NASDAQ is holding support. The NASDAQ's in hourly equilibrium. Huge dump on FOMC, huge bounce on the morning, big drop into the second half of the day. And then that end of the day bounce was from extremes. And so I used the 5-minute stair step on SPY when we were at those extremes to look to play long a name that was in an hourly uptrend. And so on Netflix, we had a very nice bounce. And I was very quickly out because I was not expecting. You know, I made first entry in the 313, second entry in the 312s. Guess I'll show you some proof so I'm not just talking out of my you-know-what. So grab some 313.17, 312.42, and the hourly EMA 12 was coming into play at that point, and we were 5-minute oversold conditions. And so was comfortable, and it was also SPY. I'm looking at SPY and saying, all right, SPY is due for a 5-minute bounce, even if it's a bear flag. And so we ended up with a 2% bounce very quickly, and so I was quickly scaling out. You know, 315, 316, 317, I'm all out. But again, that's my mindset until we get clarity like more clarity if the entire market's bear or the entire market's bull. Until then, I'm bearish the names in hourly downtrends. I'm bullish the names in hourly uptrends. Netflix is extremely strong right now. Look at that close. Look at that volume in that close. So weekly stair step bull break. Maybe it's a head and shoulders. This is why I exited my Netflix short, the last of it, when we broke 300 back to the upside. And I will be watching for a weekly lower high, anything under 379, but staying away as a bear for the time being. We got a lot of volatility, we can say that much, and a lot of volume as well. Daily volume, well, not a huge amount on SPY. But solid volume, solid volatility. So SPY is going to try and form a daily higher low here. QQQ is an equilibrium, and it's a daily inside bar. And so when I'm watching these stronger and weaker names, something's going to happen here in the short term where we're either going to see the stronger names roll over and join the bears, or we're going to see the weaker names get some bounce follow through and join the bulls. And that will give us the clarity in the entire market. But until then, just viewing it segmented. And again, using SPY to help determine when to be looking at which grouping in different directions. But that is how I found some clarity today. I also overtraded my IRA, and I exited my IRA hedge on the morning, which was a good decision for maybe an hour or two. But then by the time we rolled over into the second half of the day, probably should have held on to some of that hedge. So my mindset is waiting for clarity, essentially, to see how I'm going to position my IRA. And I am overtrading it a little bit. I've been doing really well with it. You know, the IRA has been sitting up at the high of the year all until last week, and now the last couple of days coming down a little bit. So need to stop trading that as actively and be okay with flat and just letting it sit flat as long as I don't have clarity. And so because these different groupings are doing such drastically different things, I'm lacking bigger picture everything clarity. I'm not lacking clarity on, you know, Netflix's chart or NVDA's chart, but I'm lacking clarity on, you know, are you bullish or bearish the market? I don't have an answer. I'm bullish tech, I'm bearish the financial sector, and we'll see how long that remains the case. So if QQQ breaks bear tomorrow, that will be notable, absolutely. And again, semiconductors, daily uptrend. The names that are stronger, the hourly and daily uptrends are our guides. And so QQQ with the big drop today is still holding support. So if we bounce overnight, we'll just have a really nice equilibrium, and how this equilibrium breaks will potentially shape how I position my IRA in the short term as well. So SMH, plenty of space for a daily higher low. NVDA bulls, they still got it. Daily inside bar, but you know, anything over 251 is a higher low. We can pull back 5% and be looking for a daily higher low still. So still grinding up there. Again, Riot, just significant bull move. Look at that morning move. That's automated buying. That is algos and bots loading large positions. Bitcoin this morning tested the recent high, trying to confirm a daily bull flag. And so coin had bearish news yesterday and was down big, but even then we bounced 10%, more than that, 15% bounce just about from the low of the day. That being said, it's still an hourly downtrend. So coin is now weaker because of news. SEC is not happy with them, but Riot is the bull name for the crypto space that I'm keeping an eye on. As I mentioned, gold is up testing the highs. Key short-term support now, benchmark level, 1934 is our daily higher low. Netflix bears keep shorting 200. So we headed up towards that resistance with 5 and 15 minute overbought conditions this morning. And then we had a little head and shoulders type pattern that eventually rolled over, and it ended up being a really hard rejection from 200. So again, it's just a resistant zone. It was already 248 resistance on the daily. We rejected twice yesterday, and then we rejected $1 underneath that resistance today. And there's space for an hourly lower high to be the result of the next bounce. But again, on Tesla, am I bullish or bearish? I don't have a clear answer in the short term. I need more information. And again, that's a perfectly acceptable answer, especially everybody on social media, you know, making calls and being right. No, if you're really a full-time trader, there's plenty of times where you're saying, I don't know, I need more information, and that is the right answer many times. And you shouldn't feel like you need to know, you shouldn't feel like you need to have a bias every single moment of every single day. So that's where I'm at. KRE, definitely have a bear bias. And if we roll over and hit fresh lows, that will continue. And again, we go back to the CVID lows and see, wow, we were way lower than we are right now. There's a gap down at 41.18. So if things stay ugly, we're going to look for KRE to stay weak. We've got clear daily lower highs as our guide. XLF, bulls are putting up a fight at this level. Look at this support level, this zone. Again, it's not just an individual level, but pre-market and extended hours, pretty much 30.70 to 30.80. And a low of today, 30.79. Bulls playing defense. If that level breaks, it's fresh fear lows in the financial sector. And again, that will be meaningful. So watching KRE and XLF very closely. Again, does the NASDAQ roll over to join these bears? Or do these bears hold support or break with no follow through and then start a more meaningful bounce to join Team Bull? That's where we stand right now. And this happens on an intraday basis very often. It doesn't happen on a big picture basis as often. So there's often times where XLF, lead bear, QQQ, lead bull on the 5-minute time frame. And then after enough candles, 30, 60, 90 minutes in the morning play out, and one starts to then change. One starts to join the other. And that's when we get the clarity. So knowing that it's on the daily time frame, it's just going to have to take a little bit of time to play out. Healthcare still weak, trying to set up an inverse head and shoulders. I don't really care about healthcare at all in terms of the sector. I keep an eye on it. It's at this point, it's kind of just like one lazy eye every few hours. I just don't see it having near as much impact as the financial sector and QQQ. I know the holding size dictates that it should, but I just don't see it on an intraday basis or a day-to-day basis. It matters to me when we're seeing our all major sectors at the low of the day together or the high of the day together, but I mean, that's really what I use it for. IWM, so lower low is hit. That's notable. We're looking at the lowest level we've seen in the last couple of months, and 161.75 and 161.20 is our 2023 low. No, 2022 low. So that definitely matters to us. If IWM breaks that level, it will be a solid win for the bears. Biotech sector is still on Team Bear, absolutely. Didn't see a lot of downside today, but certainly not showing us much strength. There's a bit of a bounce happening in extended hours right now. Futures bulls, again, the NASDAQ futures bulls are going to try and get this hourly higher low set in our equilibrium. 4 hour might be more clear for you. Nah, I like the 2 hour. So we're trying to set that higher low, and just very likely to see this nice tight range tomorrow as a key way to end the week to see how it breaks. Oil daily rejection from EMA 12, watching for the consolidation to potentially shape up, knowing we have to confirm a daily uptrend for the first time in a while if we're going to see a notable shift. But with the financial sector weakness, again, the energy sector is definitely correlated to it. Daily lower high is set, and we're looking back down at the low of 74.58. The question for everybody is, do we drop to fresh lows, or can we hold lows and set a daily higher low to try and set up an eventual trend change attempt? Natural gas, bulls just can't do anything here. Play defense, nice hard pump, give it all back slowly. Just a clear, weak pattern here, and back to knocking on the door of support, on the verge of confirming the weekly bear flag. And daily stair-step pattern the last 7 days is our short-term guide from here. So that's where we stand overall. I've got clarity individually. I don't have clarity. And spies and bulls are making a move here. I don't have clarity on the whole. We're up 0.5% here after hours in SPY. So we wait. I wait. I patiently wait. Day trading has gone all right this week, but starting to get sloppy with my IRA. Swing trading. So we'll look to hone in on that. Really what it is, need to be focused more on not just shorting, not just using SPXS as my hedge, because that is doing myself a disservice where I have more details than that. I need to be shorting the financial sector and longing the tech sector. Unfortunately, a lot of my longs are in the tech sector. Microsoft and INTC are a couple of the individual longs that I have. Microsoft trying to set up a daily bull flag. Now I'm just rambling. Do good things. Appreciate you watching. Have a great weekend. Another nature and trading analogy. So the art of observation is essential for trading, and you don't really hear people talk about it a whole lot. And by observing, I just mean watching things. And you cannot replicate time in front of the screen watching price action, trends, and patterns play out. And so in nature, I love being around the yard every single day in the spring and summer because I'm able to recognize subtle differences from one day to the next. With things budding, with flowers coming up, with my plants, I can see if they need nutrients or if they're being attacked by a pest right away before it's too late if I'm observant of them. The other day I was out here and this little path right behind me, there's a little brown strip among these nice, vibrant green plants. And I was trying to figure out, what is that? That's new. That wasn't here last year. Does it have to do with the rain? Is there a rock under there so the roots are being inhibited? And then I realized that's where the turkeys walk every single day, and that's now a turkey path. And we have to do that on our charts. We have to be recognizing the subtle differences in relative strength and weakness. We have to recognize market environments and certain patterns and trade setups that work better than others. I've been in market environments where 5-minute oversold conditions has been great for playing bounces, and others where buying 5-minute oversold is a very bad idea. We have to be observant and make note of those observations and not just be plugging along with our blinders on and not taking in every single piece of data as we are watching the charts and putting in those hours. Again, you cannot replicate putting in hours in front of the screen to see price action play out in real time.